Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Enrico Dolcecore, and thanks for joining us on this week's podcast of Living a Full Life. I was having a discussion with a physiology PhD major at the University of Florida. This wasn't too long ago, a couple weeks ago. And we just started talking about things. And I was a physiology minor in my Bachelor of Science degree. So we talked about some things, but then he just started going way over my head. And I was asking about water. We were just talking about water, and then it got into hydration. And he explained hydration so beautifully. I wish I recorded it. But he was like, being hydrated, truly hydrated, means that your body cells have the right balance of water, electrolytes, and nutrients to function properly. Now, you're going to say, well, yeah, Enrico, that makes sense. That's what hydration is all about. I'm like, well, I missed that. It's about maintaining a balance, not just about the intake of fluids. Proper hydration also supports bodily functions like digestion, circulation, and temperature regulation. As a doctor, we talk about that. It functions with digestion and circulation. That's why we want to stay hydrated. But there was a moment of aha when he said the cells need to function properly with proper hydration based on not just the electrolytes, but the nutrients going into the cell. So hydration plays a really big role in overall health, and we need to stay hydrated. I think a lot of us mix up drinking enough water with staying hydrated. Two different things. And this is the difference why, 1,000 people can go to the beach when it's 98 degrees out, and seven of them pass out from heat exhaustion, but the other 9,993 don't. You kind of think about how that happens and why it happens is because we are truly intracellularly dehydrated. So let's dive in on how to stay hydrated and how to maybe prevent becoming dehydrated. I think that's a great episode for health and wellness. Let's dive into that. So drinking water is important. I mean, simply drinking water is important, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're fully hydrated. Hydration involves the body absorbing and utilizing that water effectively. And effectively means intracellular and extracellularly. So, you're made up of trillion cells. Your entire body is made up of trillion cells. Different cells are part of different systems and different organs, but they're all cells. And these cells require hydration, water, simply water, to go in and out of the cell to either move nutrients in and move waste products out. The fluid that's all on the outside, that's not blood, is called the extracellular fluid. So it's outside the cells, and that's where nutrition floats around and the cells get to eat it all up. Your body digests it, puts it into the circulation, and in there, in the extracellular fluid, is where nutrition is, mainly salts and potassium, and the main things that we need to create those potassium sodium channels that help pump things in and out of each cell. Okay, before we get into advanced physiology, let's just keep it simple. Hydration means that there's a balance between the intracellular and extracellular fluid that allows for that transportation easily. So we have to maintain that homeostasis of water balance, and that is called hydration. So the best ways to stay hydrated is to drink water consistently, not just grab a gallon, bring it to the gym, drink it when you're working out, and then for the rest of the day, barely drink any water. It's consistently supporting that system. And it takes water throughout the day rather than large amounts all at once. So eat water-rich foods. So we digesting hydrated vegetables is a great way to retain water better than just drinking water. When you drink a glass of water, it flushes into your stomach really quick, and your body just panics and tries to absorb as much of it as it can. When we masticate, chew, digest, it's a slow absorption process that actually allows us to absorb a lot more. That's why food is so important in the act of eating. And we did a podcast about juicing in the past and why long-term juicing is not a good idea because we don't want to get rid of digestion entirely, and why, long-term fasting as well can be an issue as well, because food is really important. That whole process of mastication, digestion, and peristalsis of moving that stuff through our digestive tract has an immense role in our overall well-being. So eat vegetables mainly and fruits that are rich in hydration, which like cucumbers, oranges, strawberries, watermelons have high water content and help hydration. Now, how do they help hydration? They're not just water. They come with a lot of vitamins and minerals as well. Like watermelon comes with lots of chromium even some potassium and salt that comes in through watermelon. So what makes it so tasty, and a little bit of sugars too, some carbohydrates that come in there as well. And when we digest that, it all plays a role in absorption. It all plays a role in getting into the extracellular fluid, which your cells love. Then we can get into electrolyte balance. So include beverages that provide electrolytes, such as coconut water. Some sports drinks are out there, especially after intense exercise on hot days. You want to be drinking some electrolytes after sweating a lot for sure, because you want to replenish those salts that we've lost. We recommend liquid IV, LMNT. LMNT is fantastic product. It's sold almost everywhere now. You can get it anywhere. We have it right in our office, right at the front desk. People can grab packs because we want to support healthy living. But we have it in there as well. And it's just a salt-based, no sugar powder that you add to your water, and it gives you all the electrolytes that you need, and it makes your water more hydrated. Does that make sense? More hydrated? You'd be more hydrated. It puts the electrolytes in your water so that when you drink it, you're more hydrated. There you go. So use hydration reminders too. With all of our apps and phones and watches and all the cool things that we have, you can set reminders on your smartwatch or your phone to just ding every 2 hours telling you, hey, did you drink some water, and make yourself hydrated? That's a great way to move forward with hydration. So maybe I'm just nerding out, but this podcast was so important because hydration plays such a big role in our overall health systems, all of them: the immune system, the digestive system, our brain fog, cardiac, everything plays a role. Water is life. So it plays a huge role in this. And I don't think I've done a podcast on proper hydration. So here we are. Now, what are things that dehydrate us? Maybe these are more important than the things that can hydrate us. Pretty easy. Drink more water, add some electrolytes to your water. You're going to be in good shape. Make it a daily routine. And that's a great, healthy lifestyle thing that you're going to do for the rest of your life. But things that dehydrate us that we should be aware of is caffeine and alcohol. Both of them have diuretic effects, meaning that they can increase the urine production and pull more water out of your system faster than it really needs to go. So caffeine speeds up the kidneys function of pulling water into the bladder. So it just speeds that whole up, and that's why we have to go to the bathroom after some coffee. Speeds up all the processes, really. And alcohol does the same thing too. It's dehydrating. So, they say drink 1 cup of coffee, you have to drink 2 cups of water to replenish yourself. Doesn't necessarily work exactly like that. It just means that the dehydrated effects that are going to happen from the caffeine are going to pull twice as much water for a duration after drinking that caffeine for a certain time. So we have to replenish that throughout the day. You don't have to just finish your coffee and drink 2 cups of water immediately and you've canceled each other out. It's like, do one bad thing, do one good thing, and it's all good. It doesn't work that way. Smoke a cigarette and then breathe clean air and you're all good, right? We negated the bad. It doesn't work like that either. So it's something you need to do for the rest of the day. High sodium foods, again, increase renal pressure, and that also pulls more water as well into the bladder in order to process that salt and get it through the system as well. So high sodium foods can do this. And believe me, high sodium foods are processed foods that have high sodium in them are ridiculously high in sodium. They're very high. They're going to dehydrate you. If you've ever eaten some of them, crackers or whatever it may be that comes out of a box, you literally have to go for the water right away because it's the sodium that's causing it. You see people pouring a little bit of salt, table salt on their food at dinner time. Is not compared to processed sodium and what comes in some of these packages and the dosages that you get from that. So really it makes a big difference with processed foods. And processed foods go across all barriers. I always pick boxed snacks when I give examples, but deli turkey is processed food as well. It's processed. It's made to last a little bit longer. You cut it. It's really salty. You'll find these meats are cured with salt. So you got to be careful with the way those cured processes go as well. Some of them are just really high salt from nitrate, which can cause other problems. And then other ones are properly salted, usually from Europe. Salamis and things like that, where they cure it in a cool room, and they have like salt in the room, and that's how they cure the salami or the meats. And that's actually better for you than the way we do it here in North America with nitrates. So intense exercise without replenishing. This is what makes perfect sense. Sweat a lot, you got to replenish this. Right afterwards, you should have an electrolyte drink that you use. we don't use brand names like Powerade or Gatorade or anything like these because these are high manufactured foods that are dyed for your visual aesthetic and sugared for the taste so that you buy more of this. It tastes good. Yes, there's some electrolyte in it, but they're not good for you because of the dyes and the sugar that they put in it. And usually it's high fructose corn syrup that they use in there as well. So it's just not a good drink. That's why we don't use them. They were designed and to do this. And at the University of Florida, the history of Gatorade. It's pretty cool. University of Florida football team with the Heat. They're um, some people at the school developed this drink with electrolytes, and that's Gators, the Florida Gators, right? Gatorade, and that's where it all came from. So great invention, great idea, but as they sold to the major drink brands, any major food company out there is always trying to make food tastier and last longer. So in short terms, they're trying to make food more processed so it lasts longer and that you buy it, which is always not a good idea. Salt, sugar, that's all they're adding pretty much to cardboard, and then we're all buying it and being like, Oreos, they taste good. Hot and humid weather. Of course, you're going to be always perspiring through hot and humid weather in the summer. Make sure you're drinking even more during that season, and eat certain medications as well. They'll say right on the side of the box or the container of the side effects of dehydration on there. And you should drink more water. And your doctor will tell you, make sure you drink a lot more water taking this medication for whatever it may be. They can have diuretic effects, which increase your risk of dehydration as well. So, a dehydration podcast or a hydration podcast, however way you want to listen to this, it's really important that we look at all facets. And the point of Living a Full Life podcast, and it was developed, was to give you daily tidbits, weekly tidbits that you add to your daily life. But more realistically, you can't add 1,000 things to your life. There's just not enough time to do this. So what we should be doing to influence a healthy lifestyle is substituting things into our life and realizing, okay, I'm going to start drinking electrolyte water instead of just water. Not really adding anything. You just got to purchase some electrolytes. You put them into your water. Now you've changed the way you drink water, but you're still drinking water, right? It's the same thing. You're still drinking your fluids to stay hydrated, right? That's one example. Or sleep tips that we give, or diet tips that we give, or food tips that we give, or exercise tips. It's to substitute the things that you should be doing in life anyways. So this should never become like this, oh man, staying healthy is an impossible thing. It should be invigorating and influencing you to be like, wow, if I do these things, I'm setting myself up for success. That's the whole point of the Living a Full Life podcast. So drink your water, stay hydrated, work out, and after you work out, make sure you get an electrolyte drink to replenish all that. Repeat, rinse, and repeat. And you'll have great success with a lot of things and just have more energy, get better sleep, and just feel better overall doing the little things right. Remember the 80-20 rule when it comes to everything in life, everything, finances, work, children, parenting, health, diet, everything. Do the right thing 80% of the time, and 20% of the time, yeah, have the cake. Do the little things and enjoy life. That's what it's all, and you set yourself up for good success. If you have any other requests or questions, send them to info@fulllifetampa.com. We love to answer all those questions that come on in. And sometimes we create a podcast around them. It's awesome. And we can dive deep into any of those. If you have any guests you'd like to introduce us to in the local area, I love local, but anywhere that in the health field that are experts in what they do, I'd love to interview them as well. We got some really cool people over the years on our podcast, and we want to continue to do that and share that with you so that you stay tuned. Have a great week, stay healthy, and stay well.